Hello there. In August, more people than ever before dared to cross in small boats in a month. Boris Johnson's successors are sticking to the controversial deterrence plan for this. Great Britain's controversial deportation policy seems to have had little effect so far. The number of people who illegally crossed the English Channel to Great Britain in small boats was more than 8,000 in August, the highest number in a month. According to figures from the Home Office in London, 8,544 people in 189 boats made the journey across the straits between France and England in August. A new daily high was also recorded on August 22nd with 1,295 boat migrants. Over the course of the year, more than 25,000 people have made it to England this way. The majority of immigrants come from Albania. Last year, more than 28,500 people crossed over to the island. At least 166 people died or disappeared trying to make the crossing. The British government had reached an agreement with Rwanda as a deterrent in the spring. In the future, migrants should be handed over to the East African country and apply for asylum there instead of in Great Britain. If this is granted, they should stay there. Otherwise, they face deportation to their countries of origin. The United Nations Refugee Agency sees the plan as a breach of international law, and England's bishops spoke of a disgrace to Great Britain. The first scheduled flight to Rwanda was halted shortly before takeoff by an injunction by the European Court of Human Rights in June. Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, the two contenders to succeed Prime Minister Boris Johnson, want to stick to the plan to fly certain asylum seekers to Rwanda, so still breach international law. A fundamental review by the British judiciary is due in London next week. But so much about Boris Johnson's taking back control. But Boris Johnson's circus clown act is now over. The British Prime Minister rode his country into Brexit and left behind a shambles. Citizens pay the bill on that now. Even in the hour of his farewell, Boris Johnson remains true to himself. Brash and not really interested in the toils of the level, he'll be turning his back on 10 Downing Street in a few days. The British Prime Minister never had a real passion for governing. He loved the spectacular performance, the big political circus act. He was addicted to applause, which he received in abundance on the island for a long time. And despite an extremely meager record, Johnson will go down in history, but not as a statesman or a doer. With his tour de force in Brexit, he leaves behind a huge pile of shards. His fairy tale painting of the legendary rise of Great Britain turned out to be a soap bubble, dazzling for a short time, but bursting in the end. The EU exit cost the country 4% of economic output, or £100 billion, certified by the Court of Auditors. A jumble of customs formalities caused by the new border checks, endless queues of trucks, and the exit of specialists paved Johnson's misery. And the problem is, for too long, a large majority of Britons have been taken in by the illusionist fantasy stories. Like former US President Donald Trump, Johnson is a beacon of what populists can do if not disenchanted in time. Johnson ended up falling over himself, his power obsession and his hybris. Because he went too far, he was de facto overthrown by top politicians in his own party. Unfortunately for continental Europeans, whoever succeeds Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak, the Brexit tide will continue in London. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.